So this is our first collaborative display. We're calling it Operation Suka Bliat, which is a very rude Russian term, but it was a collaboration between me and 3 other builders, one of whom is holding the camera right now. There's a total of 6 gray base plates. I contributed this section here and the little shed. Elijah over yonder contributed these middle green base plates and this aircraft. The man holding the camera did this building, and there's a guy who is not in attendance, but he contributed a lot of amazing customized figures. We've been having a lot of trouble with this radio tower here. It's been knocked over twice during public hours and 4 times during private hours. And I think it looks cool, but that coolness is it is put into question when I have to spend 20 minutes restringing the wires.
I agree with that statement. Now, this is a very large build. It'd be really cool if you could walk me from one side to the other and give a little bit of a rundown of the different action sequences and things we're watching take place.
So we'll start over here. This is sort of like we're referring to the guys in the green as NATO forces, so this is a NATO base or staging area. So there's a couple guys on the roof there. One guy has a mounted gun, another guy has a marksman's rifle, and they are, I would suppose, providing covering fire. And then down here you have people starting to move out. There's a wounded guy on the stretcher here. Over here is a helicopter that I built, and we have some sort of special forces looking guys disembarking from that, dragging a wounded and unfortunately legless man. If you move over in this direction, there's some guys firing. We have a dude with a squad automatic weapon who's sort of covering this area. There's some more dudes around here. There's a little bird helicopter flying by. And then in this area, we have the main push of these sort of generic Eastern European militia forces. We got our hands on some ice cream puffs, so we were able to create the illusion of a RPG being fired. Got some backblast too. And those guys are moving out, and we have more dudes moving out over here. We have BrickMania's Waldo for their Where's Waldo event. And lastly, at the bottom of the radio tower, we have some more of those NATO special operation guys who appear to be sneaking up on the militia forces. There's one unfortunate guy being attacked by knife.
That is a lot of action.
Yeah, this is my first experience with a really large-scale build, so we toyed around a lot with creating interesting action sequences, trying to tell little stories with the actions or poses of certain figures, but I had a lot of fun with that.
Definitely. It's really fun to just kind of look at it, and now that you've explained all the things going on, I'm really kind of amazed by how much is packed into it. Now, one of the questions I always have with a display like this, it's become readily apparent to me that things like BrickArms and BrickMania are really great about sort of giving military builders and builders interested in depicting like historical army type scenes like sort of a boost by either giving them ideas for vehicle designs or custom elements. Could you give a little bit of a run through of maybe what BrickMania sets appear in here, or custom elements from BrickArms, Modern Brick Warfare, what have you?
So there's no BrickMania sets in here. I totally respect BrickMania, but as a military builder and building a lot of vehicles, I feel like buying BrickMania vehicles would be a little redundant.
Roll your own, right?
Yeah, but they do make impressive kits. But there's a ton of custom elements on the figures. The standards for the NATO forces are all minifig.cat items, so they have custom vests, helmets, and headsets. Those were bought at Modern Brick Warfare. And there are BrickArms in the hands of the majority of the soldiers here. And some of Kalen's figures use a pretty wide variety of customized elements. So you can see on this guy, I think that might be a tiny tactical. He's got his own, his own muzzle brake and foregrip, an optic. And we also actually received a sponsorship from Victor of Eclipse Graphics. So these figures here are custom printed by Victor to suit our needs. As well, our collaboration brick is also printed by Victor, and we were really lucky to receive those because I think they added a lot to the overall layout.
Definitely. Now, one of the last remaining questions I have is, in a collaboration, there are always things that go really, really right and really, really wrong. Just that tends to be the nature of collaboration. What's the one sort of tactic or organizational methodology that you utilize to make this collaboration a success, like weekly meetings leading up to the convention, things like that?
Well, I'd say the most important tactic for success was just constant communication, especially between Elijah and I. Whenever we had a question about something on our layout or how we should build something, we stayed in touch with each other, which I think was really important because we had sort of a good idea of what we'd be working with, what would be present. And we actually we were scheduled to have one more person who was going to contribute 2 base plates, but he dropped out, so we're missing a section. So that was maybe, you were talking about stuff going wrong. Yeah, that is sort of what happened there. But I think communication and being able to plan things beforehand so you're not leaving anything to the last minute is really important.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Wonderful collaboration. Really cool to see things like this.
Thanks for talking to me.